One Zambia, one nation. Welcome to the news. I am your presenter, Henry Himonde, and my sign language interpreter is John Chulu. Let's take a look at the top stories in the news. Parliament commemorates 100 years of existence. Stakeholders discuss online child sexual abuse. Over 30 women trained in climate change. Plus, Ambassador happy with impact under KGS project. Now the news in detail. Vice President Mtalena Lumango has urged members of Parliament to rededicate themselves to save the people and deliberate on legislation that will better the lives of citizens. In her supplication during the commemoration of 100 years of Parliament, Mrs. Nalumango prayed for wisdom and knowledge that will make Parliament responsive to the needs of the people of Zambia. The National Assembly of Zambia has turned 100 years from May 23, 2024, when the Colonial Legislative Council was established. Details in the following report. The National Assembly of Zambia has evolved over a period of 100 years, from a colonial legislative council that focused on administration of justice, revenue collection and maintenance of order, to a cornerstone of democracy for citizens through their representatives. The National Assembly has turned 100 years since its establishment on May 23, 1924. Vice President Mtalena Lumango, who is leader of government business in the House, graced the centenary celebrations held on Parliament grounds on Wednesday night.
Let us call upon God Almighty to continue giving us life, strength, and wisdom to work towards our vision of becoming a legislature that is more responsive to the people's needs. As we execute the legislative, oversight, budgetary, and representative functions. Today's commemoration also gives us the chance to rededicate ourselves to the noble cause of service to our nation and to inspire the new generation of leaders. May it remind us of the solemn duty entrusted to us.
Speaker of the National Assembly, Nelly Muti, is the first female to occupy the position and wants an inclusive parliament that represents society's diverse voices.
100 years ago, history was made when the Legislative Council was established in Livingstone, the first capital city of Northern Rhodesia, to administer justice, raise revenue, maintain peace, order and good governance. Since then, the National Legislature has undergone notable reforms and developments which have made Parliament more representative, transparent, accessible, accountable, and effective in the core functions. Despite some challenges, today our Parliament has become a cornerstone of democracy and a central institution through which the will of the people is expressed. Laws are passed and government is held to account. We need to celebrate this achievement.
Meanwhile, Clerk of the National Assembly stressed the significant contribution that the legislature has made towards the country's development.
The recounting of the legislative accomplishments of the National Assembly in this brief clearly shows that the institution has contributed immensely to the governance of the nation throughout the First, Second, and Third Republics. Since its establishment in 1924, the Zambian legislature has transitioned from being called Legislative Council to the National Assembly.
During the centenary celebrations that are ongoing, the Speaker announced that henceforth, May 23rd will be commemorated as Parliament Day. For ZANIS, I am Henry Himonde in Lusaka. And in a related development, Speaker of the National Assembly, Nelly Muti, says there is need for Parliament to fully embrace the use of information and communication technology, ICT, in its operations. Ms. Muti says the use of ICTs will enable Parliament discharge its functions efficiently and respond to people's concerns in real time. She said this in a special interview to mark the centenary of Parliament, which falls today, May 23rd. Lakson Makoza now gives us more in this report.
As Parliament clocks 100 years today, on May 23, 2024, ZANIS interacted with various stakeholders on the kind of Parliament they envision in the years to come. For Speaker of National Assembly, Nelly Muti, she wants to see a Parliament that is going to have a sense of consciousness for the environment, gender sensitive, and that fully utilizes the ICTs in its parliamentary functions.
I want to leave a Parliament that has a sense of environment consciousness among the citizens. This is the more reason why I initiated the Speaker Plant a Tree Challenge. I also want to leave behind a Parliament that advocates Christian values. As you know, Zambia is a Christian nation, as declared in our constitution.
Former clerk of the National Assembly, Doris Mwinga, she wants to see a Parliament that belongs to the people.
I envisage a Parliament in the next 100 years which truly belongs to the people. The youth, there are currently youth programs to involve the youth in primary, secondary, tertiary education in the work of Parliament.
Other stakeholders spoken to on the Parliament they envision had this to say.
They have an onerous duty. They have a huge responsibility to ensure that they maintain the unity, they maintain our cultural values, they push for the One Zambia, One Nation to remain our national motto so that we continue to exist as One Zambia, One Nation.
Most members of Parliament need to do an introspection. They need to look within and ask themselves one question. What are they doing for the people that they represent?
The 100 years commemoration of the Zambian Parliament is a milestone celebration for the country's self-governance. For ZANIS, I'm Lakson Makoza.
Also in the news, Secretary to the Cabinet Patrick Kangwa has announced that the official national activities to commemorate Africa Freedom Day will be held tomorrow, Friday, May 24th, 2024. Mr. Kangwa says the activities will be led by President Hakainde Hichilema, commencing with the wreath-laying ceremony at the Freedom Statue. In a press statement issued to ZANIS in Lusaka, the Secretary to the Cabinet notes that the President will also confer national honors and awards to deserving citizens in an investiture ceremony to be held at State House. He announced that the Africa Freedom Day will be held under the continental theme, Educate and Skill Africa for the 21st Century, building resilient education systems for increased access to inclusive, long-life, quality and relevant learning in Africa. Mr. Kangwa further added that Saturday, May 25th, 2024 will still be observed as a public holiday. Meanwhile, government says it is still carrying out consultations before arriving at a decision to increase tariffs in the water sector. Minister of Water Development and Sanitation, Mike Mposha, says government has received proposals from water utility companies on the need for tariffs to be increased. In an interview with ZANIS, Mr. Mposha says once the consultative process is concluded, members of the public will be informed on the final decision. Water tariffs were last adjusted in 2019 and water companies have endured challenges of sustainability for the last 5 years. According to the National Water Supply and Sanitation Council, NWASCO, 2023 water sector report, commercial utilities have continued to struggle financially owing to non-increment of tariffs. On the Copperbelt Province Energy Regulation Board, acting Copperbelt Senior Manager has commended Copperbelt Energy Corporation for plans to construct another solar energy plant that will help enhance the supply of power. ERB Acting Senior Manager Ezra Siamasuma said called for more stakeholders to invest in solar plants which are efficient and are resilient to climate change. Mr. Siamasuma said this during a media tour of the 60-megawatt solar PV plant in Intipi area of Kitwe district. More in the following report.
This is a 60-megawatt solar PV plant located in Itimpi area of Kitwe that was recently constructed by the Copperbelt Energy Corporation to strengthen power sourcing and supplement hydroelectric plants. The plant, together with the 34-megawatt solar PV plant in Riverside, Kitwe, were constructed at the cost of $75 million and have been supplying power to various stakeholders.
As part of our strategy, because basically our move into solar is part of our bigger strategy to basically diversify our power sources. As we all know, the bulk of our power is hydro. Part of our power, we use our diesel generators. We've got 80 megawatts of diesel generation, which we also use. But the strategy for the company is to diversify from those power sources and onboard more or different kinds of power. CEC has business both in country and in the region, mainly in the DRC. So we do have power sources locally in the likes of ZESCO, Lusemfa Hydro, Dangote. We also do have power sources regionally. We buy power from ESCOM, we buy power from EDM, we buy power from other sources in the region.
The Energy Regulation team visited the solar plant to appreciate how it can help cushion the power deficit Zambians are witnessing.
These plants that are actually coming up, as a ERB, as you're aware, we play a very significant role in promoting investment of this nature in the energy sector. And as you might be aware, it's also in line with government policy to increase the diversification of the energy sector, the mix in the energy sector. And these kind of power plants, which are greener, actually mean that we can have a more diversified energy sector, which is responsive to make it more resilient in terms of generation of energy, resilient to the effects of climate change. And this particular one at 60 megawatts, I think represents a significant milestone in that it actually helps to alleviate even the load management that we're seeing in the future. And as the ERB, I think what we want to encourage other investors is to come into a plant. We are actually welcoming them. The frameworks are in place, the regulatory frameworks are in place, and what we want to see is more people entering the sector, investing in solar plants of this nature, so that we can actually have an energy sector that is more resilient to climate change and also does not get affected with effects of, for example, the hydro plants which are affected by the climate changes that we're seeing.
Setting up a solar plant comes with a lot of benefits.
Can be implemented or can be developed in a fairly short time. Solar, this one, we plan to do it in 12 months. It's a whole system. It's a whole system. It's basically saying how reliable are you? So when we say we're 98% right, I'm telling you 98% out of 100 won't fail you in terms of supplying the power to our customers. That's what it simply means.
Investors have been called upon to venture into the construction of solar energy plants as they are resilient to climate change. Nelly Bota, ZANIS in Kitwe.
We now break for some messages. Keep watching. We have more stories when we return.
Zambia Today is a program that keeps you informed on various government policies and programs. Join us every Tuesday at 18 hours on ZANIS TV, TOPSTAR platform, channel 6 DTT, and 458 DTH. Don't miss. How I Made It is a program that delves into the many success stories of different people from all walks of life. Watch How I Made It on ZANIS TV every Thursday at 18:30 hours on the TOPSTAR channel, channel 6 DTT, and channel 458 DTH.
We continue with the news. Minister of Technology and Science Felix Mtati says government is committed to safeguarding children from sexual material both online and offline. Mr. Mtati outlined policies such as formulation of the digital policy legislation and regulations as some of the measures taken to protect children. He stressed the need to expertise information, education and communication on child sexual abuse, such as pornography, to the public in order to raise awareness on its devastating impact on victims. Mr. Mtati said this in a speech read on his behalf by Minister of Technology and Science Director for Communication and Digital Technologies, Milna Mukuni, during the official opening of an international roundtable workshop on fighting online child sexual abuse, and International Association of Internet Hotline Network Head of Network Expansion and Global Partnership Specialist Samantha Wilfe said the objective of the roundtable discussion is to investigate the current context of online child sexual abuse in Zambia.
We have the Child Online Protection Plan strategy that provides for controls that are provided for not only for what ZICTA can do, but what can happen to ensure that we have preventive, corrective measures that each individual responsible institution can undertake. Just an emphasis from the government's perspective. We have a National ICT Policy 2023. In this policy, we have pillars: digital infrastructure, we have digital services, we have digital innovation and entrepreneurship. We have also the digital policy, legislation, and regulations that are available to make an enabling environment for the use of ICT for socio-economic development. One of the key enablers is the issue of cybersecurity and also data protection.
We are supporting the setup of internet hotlines. We have more on that over the coming days. But in short, an InHope hotline enables the public to anonymously report online material that they suspect to contain online child sexual abuse material. InHope and Interpol trained hotline analysts will investigate the report that's been received from the public, and if it's confirmed illegal, then they act to have the content removed from the internet as rapidly as possible. You are the stakeholders who can collaborate to fight online child sexual abuse material here and internationally. You can help prevent it, and when it's sadly already happened, you can help remove it from the internet. And we are supporting the setup of internet hotlines. We have more on that over the coming days. But in short, an InHope hotline enables the public to anonymously report online material that they suspect to contain online child sexual abuse material. InHope and Interpol trained hotline analysts will investigate the report that's been received from the public, and if it's confirmed illegal, then they act to have the content removed from the internet as rapidly as possible. We at InHope received over 1.1 million confirmed child sexual abuse material related public reports in 2023. Even with the increased volumes, the takedown times have continued to improve if the country has an InHope hotline in one of the 54 countries where we have a hotline.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Gary Nkombo, has handed over learning materials to Ndeke Primary and Secondary Schools. Mr. Nkombo disclosed that the school has further been allocated 1.9 million Kwacha Constituency Development Fund to build a computer laboratory. Kazela Hawanda now reports.
The disbursement of relief food to alleviate hunger crisis in communities has taken off. In Mazabuka district, the government has commenced this program with Benemwinga Ward, and the area member of parliament, who is also local government minister Garin Kombo, was present to witness the commencement of the program in the district. He assures residents that government will work extra hard to combat the hunger crisis.
Butabi kupanikinga pe kuti tulapona buti kambo kotu gama dingira tiva ndiye kwamba uti ndimuyumye ndimushomehe ikwamba kuti okutatebula kumwata atebula tatutikale buyo katubikide manza munkomo tulagita chimwijintu kwena mutu ataligono.
Meanwhile, Mazabuka District Commissioner Oliver Mulomba and the Mayor Vincent Ilanda assured the people that this is just the beginning, as more is yet to come.
Aya mataligiro kama bantu balaji nchatwambo muli chairman ubulanga mutabi wa disaster okuno kumazabuga ndimuhome akwamba kuti nubana mazabuga through union nubana gali etubandigali awa a program irazumana up to next year wa usika mu April bagajibika ntangala ba minister ba hulumende kwamba kuti wina muntu yigabe naho agunzara so guri jeyo twamba kuti ijagamba ba president ayijitiga lino ba minister turarumba kambo ihulumende yagahome kuti wina muntu yigawanza alije twajibona ameso turujatari.
Beneficiaries have praised the government for a timely response to their situation. Mazabuka district has been allocated 4,000 by 50 kilogram bags of white maize as the first consignment through DMMU, who will work with the Zambia Red Cross to distribute the relief food. Gazela Hagwanda, ZANIS, in Mazabuka district of Southern Province.
And in Mchinga Province, the presidential initiative under the National Agriculture Mechanization Strategy has delivered farming equipment to Mpika District. District Commissioner David Siame, who received the equipment, thanked President Hakainde Hichilema for the gesture and further confirmed that 19 out of 44 pieces of equipment have been delivered. And in Northern Province, Kasama District Commissioner Annie Poe has commended Daily Women Cooperative, a Kasama-based women group, for the prudent utilization of the equipment they received from the gender division. The women-led group has since created employment for some youths after they opened up a restaurant. Jafet Munkondia now gives us more.
Women are critical players in the developmental agenda of the country. This is why government, through the gender division, is implementing various empowerment programs to help women engage in productivity. Daily Women Cooperative from Kasama is one of the beneficiaries of the empowerment programs after the group received restaurant equipment. Kasama District Commissioner Anipo visited the cooperative to check on its operations.
Because this is what government is looking for. It's looking for people that are committed. Once you receive any empowerment from government, make sure that you put it in good use. Other people, they've gotten some empowerment from government. Instead of putting it in good use, they've either sold what they've received. If they received the empowerment in form of grants, some they've shared that money amongst themselves. We've always told them to say this is seed money. This is seed money that you need to plant.
Sheila Mangani is Northern Province Gender Coordinator.
So I'm encouraging all the women in Kasama, Northern Province, to form cooperatives, savings and clubs so that they can be beneficiaries to these empowerments. We are looking for cooperatives and clubs which consist of 70% women, 30% men.
And the chairperson of the Daily Women Cooperative Group thanked the government for the empowerment.
Kuli government yaba Hakainde Hichilema tuletera besale abapala kaidi batwalirire fiyo kwafana bambi bana mayo kali kutunatemu okukosereshako baana maayo abo abashikwete efya kuchita abalife mukyalo balefu afya bakulomba kuba bapeere baneino nshita nshita yakwikala tinala lomba nshita yakuipaka mishanga baana maayo government yali mani free kuli wonse okuya mukuchita apply.
Reporting for ZANIS in Kasama District, I'm Jafet Munkondia.
Now, following the commencement of works on the Lusaka-Ndola dual carriageway, settlers in Ndili and Kashikishi village bordering the Kabwe and Kapiri have thanked government for the job opportunities given to the local people. Ministry of Information and Media Director spokesperson Henry Kapata toured the sites to interact with the settlers. Catherine Sakala now reports.
Following the launch of construction of Lusaka-Ndola dual carriageway, residents of Ndili and Kashikishi village on Kawe-Kapiri Road have thanked government for opportunities that have started to mushroom from the project. The settlers who are soon to be displaced said moving a few meters from the road cannot outweigh the benefits that will come with the project.
On the first place, I didn't like it. But as of now, as I've seen that the dual carriageway has started on, I'm very excited because I've seen developments and things have changed here. Though we are going to shift from here, where we settled, anyway, we are not going very far, but
I think we're going to put up the structures of shops if we are having up that advantage to put up those structures. So as I said, we put our own capacity inside the business space on the other side. So it is what we have liked about the road. So we are really, really happy. It will be short time for us to go in town. So
the locals are looking forward, hopeful to benefit from the road project.
The road itself, we're going to boost our own business because it will be short time you'll be in town, short time you'll be here.
Next year, maybe twalasanga kona ifomu kwati tungasangira ko kuikara kwa at least twaikara ko bino mu mafamu.
Ministry of Information and Media Director spokesperson Henry Kapata toured the Lusaka-Ndola dual carriageway sites and interacted with some residents.
Government did massive sensitization to the people before the commencement of this particular road. Of course, citing the law that they should be somewhere around 50 meters away from the actual expansion of the road. All local districts along the stretch of this 327 kilometers will benefit with regards to the local roads. Starting from Kawe, they will have to benefit. Kapirimposhi, Ndola, Rwansha, they will have to benefit. What is important now here is to take care of the people that will obviously be reallocated furthermore than 50 meters, so that they will continue to live their lives, but they will equally benefit from the activities that will take place along this road. Already we have seen massive job creation. Already they are suggesting that some of them will have to access some money from CDF so that they can put up some decent projects because the road will be attractive.
For ZANIS News, I'm Catherine Sakala in Kabwe, Central Province.
In education news, over 30 women in agribusiness have successfully received 6 months training in accelerating climate-resilient small and medium agribusiness enterprises organized by the United Nations Institute for Training and Research. United Nations Institute for Training and Research Programs Officer Michael Adala said the training was sponsored by the Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa at a total cost of $160,000 United States dollars.
These women have come from across the country to pitch their project ideas for possible funding after undergoing a 6-month training dubbed Accelerating Climate Resilient Small and Medium Agribusiness Enterprises. Their training, targeted at women and youth, was sponsored by the Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa, but there at a total cost of $160,000 US dollars. It was organized by the United Nations Institute for Training and Research, UNITA.
We're able to support 34 women here
together with around 118 farmers in Sintumbu, and providing them with the support, training support on how they should be establishing, finding opportunities in agribusiness, and helping them build that kind of business models and how they should be building their businesses moving forward. At the same time, we are also connecting them with the ecosystem partners like Vision Fund, SACO, and other financial institutions.
The training was about training all these participants in agribusiness. Of course, taking into account the issue of climate change. How do we build resilience? Okay, so one of the things or the topics that we had focused on is how do you select a business? Which agribusiness would be appropriate, especially taking into account the climate change.
Meanwhile, Vision Fund is impressed with the business pitches and looks forward to interacting with the participants of the training.
Projects that they have and project business ideas, which are very bankable. And looking at the amounts, those are amounts that we normally give within our portfolio. And moreover, that they are more into smart agriculture. We are looking at promoting smart agriculture right now, and they are more centered on how they can build that resilience. So for us, we are very grateful to partner with the SMEs and be part of their journey as they grow their businesses.
And beneficiaries of the program are grateful for the training opportunity.
With this program, I look forward to learning from other agriculture business women who are just starting up and some who have been in the business for a long time.
It has helped me build skills in project monitoring, implementing actual practice of project monitoring, as well as source for funds. It encourages us to source for funds, bookkeeping. My records have improved.
Shilika Chabalengula for ZANIS in Lusaka.
Now, Swedish ambassador to Zambia, Johan Hellenborg, has hailed the impact of the Keeping Girls in School program that is supporting the education of girls in Zambia. Mr. Hellenborg said this in Kasama at Chiba Secondary School that the program has created opportunities for the girl child to acquire education. And in a related development, World Vision Zambia has handed over 2 classroom blocks at Kapa Community School in Nkema District in Western Province. The organization also constructed other structures which include the maternity annex, mother's shelter, incinerator, and an ablution block at Njonjolo and Kahare Rural Health Centers. We now move to the Copperbelt Province, where government under the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, has allocated over 400,000 kwacha for the construction of a footbridge in Mufurira's Chibolya Township. We have details in this report.
In an effort to improve access to the central business district for the residents of Chibolya Township and surrounding areas, the government has constructed a footbridge over a local stream that previously separated the two places. Mufulira Town Clerk, Kasonde Msongole, disclosed that the project is funded by the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, at a cost of over 400,000 kwacha.
So people from Chibolya, they are finding it very easy now to link up and go to town center as well as Malela area. The total cost has been at 400,600 kwacha. It's at 95% complete.
Previously, residents had to rely on makeshift bridges, which were often prone to collapse. The new footbridge addresses safety concerns for the area's residents, including school-going children who use the route to reach nearby schools. Recha Chisulo, ZANIS, Mufulira.
And finally, the Zambia Public Procurement Authority has commended Mfumbwe Town Council in Northwestern Province for compliance in the implementation of the electronic government procurement system. John Muhanga now gives us the rest of the story.
Zambia introduced the Electronic Government Procurement EGP system in July 2016, a significant stride in the promotion of transparency and efficiency in public procurement. Following the launch of the full EGP system use in April 2024, a number of procuring entities across the country are reported to be performing well. The Zambia Public Procurement Authority, ZPPA, is touring selected procuring entities which are reported to be the most compliant across the country, and among them is Mufumbo Town Council in Northwestern Province.
Mufumbo Town Council is an example of best practices in public procurement. As you know, in mid-April this year, specifically on the 16th of April 2024, ZPPA launched the EGP full system use, which means that all procurements have to be conducted online. All public procurement processes have to be conducted online, and except for force accounts, direct selection, electronic reverse auction, expression of interest, purchases from other procurements, these have to be conducted outside the EGP system until 30th September.
While Mufumbo Town Council Assistant Procurement Officer Akim Chiti explains the attributes behind the success scored thus far, True Vision Construction proprietor Peter Fombelo commends government for the EGP system as it makes its supply process easier.
The trainings done by ZPPA was the starting point, I think, for Mufumbo Town Council and us as a procurement practitioner. The moment after we had training with ZPPA, we also conducted our one with our suppliers and contractors in the council chamber so that they can grasp and also train them and tell them what is expected of them for them to acquire any contract with a government institution like Mufumbo Town Council.
Using just microphone, just a phone at the comfort of my home, in my sitting room. I see the tender floated, I bid, I won it, I supplied the material, I got the money.
John Mohanga reporting for ZANIS Mufumbo District in Northwestern Province.
That item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, let's take another look at the top stories. The National Assembly of Zambia has commemorated 100 years of existence. Government and stakeholders are brainstorming on online child sexual abuse. Over 30 women have been trained in climate change management. And Swedish ambassador happy with the impact of Keeping Girls in School project. Thank you so much for staying with us on behalf of the entire news production crew, as well as my sign language interpreter, John Chulu. It's goodbye until next time.